Hey, Canucks fans, I think it's time for a reality check. You know that I'm the self-proclaimed founder of the GLCPC, the Good-Looking Canucks Positivity Club. Very good-looking, very positive. But I must admit, even for me, it's tough to find a silver lining. It's tough to find a light at the end of the tunnel. Last night's game, a game that the Canucks lost 6-2 in Edmonton, wasn't even close, wasn't close from the beginning. But all the stars were aligned for a really good game, an opportunity for the Canucks to, even at this point, turn around their season, salvage their season, whatever you want to say. The Oilers were missing McDavid. Sure, we were missing Myers, but the Oilers were missing McDavid. This is a rival now through playoffs and through regular season. This is a rival, a divisional rival. We had just beaten this team 5 days ago in a very spirited match at Rogers Arena. And Rick Tocchet was saying, like, especially after the Buffalo loss, you know, no excuses. It's go time. And everything was lined up for the Canucks to have a motivated and strong and passionate response. And what do? They fall behind 3-0 in the first period once again. Now, I didn't get to watch last night's game. I was at a school function with my daughter, Kayla. But I was seeing the tweets. I was getting the text messages from friends and family members alike. And then I saw the highlights and I watched some of the game and I saw the body language. Everyone looks defeated. Everyone looks like they're waiting for someone else to do something. Well, I guess everyone except Quinn Hughes and Vinny Desharnais, who took 3 penalties. But you know what I mean? Everyone is kind of waiting for a savior, for someone else to come and get them out of this rut. Now, what's crazy is this season is still salvageable if you want the Canucks to make the playoffs. Or do you even want the Canucks to make the playoffs, sneak in as a second wildcard team, only to face a juggernaut like Winnipeg, like Vegas, or like Edmonton? Because I don't think they're going to catch LA for the third place spot in the Pacific Division. So we're looking at one of the 2 wildcard spots and likely the second wildcard spot. And even that, it used to be a 2-horse race between Vancouver and Calgary. And now there's 2 other horses in the race in Utah and St. Louis. So the Canucks are in a 4-team race for 1 wildcard spot, only to have the pleasurable task of facing the Jets, the Golden Knights, or the Oilers in the first round. This roster, this season confounds me. It really does. And as Canucks fans, and those of you that have been Canucks fans, I've been a Canucks fan all my life. Born in 1974, just after the team came into existence. And I already by 6 years old, by 1980, I was tracking stats, memorizing line combinations and deep pairings, even back then before Twitter. And then I was a full-fledged fan by the time they faced off against the Islanders in 1982. And of course, 94, 2011, and so on and so forth. But I'm not here to justify or to talk about, to prove my existence, justify my existence as a Canucks fan. You guys know how passionate I am, how positive I usually am. And it's not even like I feel defeated, because I can still have a show and still try to find silver linings. And more importantly, engage people on my shows, in my community, and just simply talk about what's ailing this team. But I think the reality check that I referred to at the start of this video is maybe last year was a blip on the radar. Because if you go back previous to that, our previous playoff experience, our previous playoff appearance was in the bubble, where yes, we took down Minnesota in the play-in round, beat St. Louis, and then lost in Game 7 to Vegas. But before that, the previous playoff appearance was 2015. So yes, you should count the bubble. It still counts. But really, it was that. And last year, our only 2 playoff appearances in the past 10 years. Now, if you look at last year, so many things went well. We were basically completely healthy for the entire season. We had a massive PDO bender where it seems like we were scoring at a clip that didn't seem sustainable. And sure enough, after the All-Star break, it started to come down to reality. And this season, we're shooting at a league average. So there's that. So there was health. There was the way we were shooting, the way we were playing, and probably some good fortune along the way as well. And players had standout years last year. Quinn Hughes, JT Miller, Thatcher Demko, and many other players were awesome. And then this season, coming into the season, we talked about what has to go well for this season to be a success for the Canucks. What has to go well for them to repeat, or at least almost come close to repeating their success from last year. And we talked about it. We talked about health. We talked about chemistry. We talked about integrating 6 or 7 new players in the lineup, but every team brings in 5, 6, 7 new players in the lineup, 1/3 of their roster. So can't use that as a issue only for the Vancouver Canucks. But look at the big difference. Health. Thatcher Demko doesn't play for the first few months of the season. Dakota Joshua has surgery and he doesn't start the season. And then throughout the season, Besser had a concussion. Pettersson got hurt. Hughes got hurt. Hronek got hurt. So all of our core players got hurt. And then you had JT Miller's 1 month leave in November, December. And that's the physical, and then of course working in all the new players in our system. And we knew at the start of the year, not only did we say that we got to be healthy, got to find chemistry, bring the new guys in, but we also said probably the D has to play over their expectation, because you had Hughes, a bona fide number 1 superstar. You had Hronek, you could argue he's a 2-3 defenseman, and you have a bunch of third pairing defensemen in Myers, Soucy, Forbert, Desharnais, and look at all the guys we've used: Juleson, Friedman, Brandstrom, Breezeball, all like good, loyal soldiers, so to speak. But there's a reason why there are 7-8 defensemen on this team, and they would be 7-8 defensemen. That's why Brandstrom didn't get cleared. That's why Brandstrom didn't get claimed by anyone on waivers. So what am I saying here? I'm saying I don't know if it's worth salvaging this season. I don't know if the Canucks can salvage the season if the definition of salvaging the season is making the playoffs. And what's really fascinating is this 4 nations face-off that basically extends our decision timeline by 2 weeks. Those 2 weeks, that the second and third weeks of February, where the entire NHL shuts down and the best players play best on best in Montreal and in Boston. So whereas the trade deadline usually would be at the end of February, now it's at the start of March. And all eyes are good. Imagine if Miller and Petey take the face-off, by the way, when opening face-off when USA plays Sweden. That would be pretty cool. But in essence, we have another 2 weeks to decide. So this whole JT Miller saga. And I didn't even mention this. I can't believe I got so far without mentioning this whole Miller-Petey thing. Obviously, something is off. You see it in the body language. You see it in what's being said and what's not being said. And when there's so many people talking about, and yes, a lot of media, they you might say they make stuff up, or they perpetuate a lot of the storylines and issues. But when there's enough people talking about it, and people that I do trust, not everyone, but I do trust a lot of media members, both local and national, and those of you who watch my vlogs know who I'm talking about. There's something there for sure. Something's got to give. Something has to give, whether it's trading Miller, trading Petey, both, neither, and trading other pieces. But this 4 nations face-off time frame, I think, makes it even more intriguing. Are the Canucks going to make a move now? But are they getting lowballed by other teams? Are they in a really bad bargaining position? And Jim Rutherford and Patrick Allvin probably don't want to make a trade that is so detrimental to the team that it doesn't help them. But they got to ask themselves, are they going to do a short-term move to try and still salvage this season? Or perhaps the more wise move would be a long-term move where you're trading away assets that can help you win now for assets that will help you win, dare I say, 2 or 3 years from now. And I don't know if the Canucks fan base is patient enough for a rebuild again, or a retool on the fly, which rarely seems to work. So obviously we're at a crossroads here. We're at a crossroads. If you can't get up for a game against your divisional rival, a team that you have playoff wars with, and a team that you basically fought with at the end of the game 5 days ago, then I really think that this team may be beyond salvaging this season. And do they make a move now in the next week or so? Do they make a move before the trade deadline after 4 nations face off? Or do they make a move in the off season? I think all cards are on the table. All options are on the table. To their credit, Rutherford and Allvin probably don't want to make a move that's going to be overly detrimental to this team, already not bargaining from a position of strength. So we're at a crossroads. I can't remember a time, and this roster, this franchise has had a history of drama, of bad luck. 2 game sevens, 3 Stanley Cup finals where they haven't been able to seal the deal, so to speak. Off-season issues, off-ice issues, on-ice issues, good management, good players, bad players. There's so much always to talk about surrounding this team. Really good for content creators like myself, but take away the lights, the camera, the microphone, take away my channel, my small, circle of influence that I have. First and foremost, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of this team. I choose to spend time, energy, and money on this team. And no one has to feel sorry for me. I'm not saying I'm better or worse than anyone else. I choose to spend my time, energy, money on this team. And part and parcel of that, I so badly want this team to win. I want them to play well. I want them to play well for each other, for their coaches, for their organization. And I don't see it. I don't see unity. I don't see passion. I don't see chemistry. I don't see a willingness to stand up for your teammate. We saw that when Perry ragdolled Hughes last night. So this franchise is broken. This season is broken. I'm not saying it's beyond salvaging. I'm just not sure how you do it and if it's even worth doing so. So you might have said, well, that was a whole lot of nothing. I just wanted to, I had the studio time during work. I had some free time and some energy, and I wanted to just kind of get my thoughts out there. You guys have seen a lot of these thoughts, heard a lot of these thoughts if you come to my shows every night. But I wanted to just put this out there and really solicit some feedback from you. How are you feeling about this team? Is there something that I said that resonates with you? Is there something that I'm completely missing? And most importantly, how are you feeling about the Vancouver Canucks right now? Is this season salvageable? Do you want them to salvage the season? And what does a salvageable season look like to you? Want to thank my channel sponsors, so good and so loyal. Jason Lim of Van City Experts Real Estate, Coach Patrick Liu, weight loss coach. Thank you to my supportive members, legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Andrew Chang, Hall of Fame and franchise members. And thanks to all of you for watching, liking, and subscribing. On your way out, like the video, subscribe. You can leave a donation if you want, support me that way. But most importantly, let me know your thoughts. How are you feeling about this team right here, right now? And just give me a vibe check, your emotional investment and your intellectual investment. And just tell me how you're feeling. That's all I want to know. Make this a therapy session. Me and you. Just me and you. Put it down in the comments below. I'll do my best to read, react, and reply. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. As always, God bless and go Canucks go.